reading for children is a way for them to access magical, exciting worlds that they've never thought about going to before. It allows them to learn about things that they never knew they could know. It allows them to do things and make things they never knew they could do or make. This is the power of reading for children. But to do that, children need to have certain knowledges, certain skills, and a positive attitude to reading. The kind of knowledge they need in order to read, it includes both world, text, and language. So the knowledge of the world is their ideas, their opinions, their thoughts, their feelings. These things they bring to the text as they read them. For text, they need to know what they're reading and why they're reading it. And for language, they have to understand how words, sentences, and paragraphs are used to tell them something. All right? So to help our children develop the knowledge, skills, and attitudes they need, there's a few things we can do. First, we can select books that interest them, engage them, and make them want to be read. 2, we can make reading a social experience for them. So we read with them. We talk about the books we're reading. We read in front of them things that we want to read. So they see reading as something that they want to do, something that interests them. 3, we can explicitly help them learn how language works. So we can talk about how words are made, how sentences are made, how paragraphs are made. One key part of that is the word. When children come across a word they don't know, often they stop and they don't know what to do. But we can actually help them to overcome this by teaching them how sounds and spelling relate to each other. We're very lucky that English is, on the whole, phonetically quite regular. That means that for each letter, there's a corresponding sound or a few sounds that those letters make. Once our children can learn those knowledge about how sounds and spellings work, then they can read new words without our help, which gives them the key to unlocking those worlds that they can access. So it's important when children are learning about sound spelling relationships that they're doing this in a fun way. They need fun and engaging activities that engage them in making those connections. Okay, and they need to be thinking about what the letter looks like, what the word looks like, and how they sound. So making those connections as often and as clearly as possible. So they need lots and lots of meaningful repetition. The chance to hear the sounds, the chance to say the sounds, the chance to practice making sounds and words together using those sounds. So we need to provide lots of opportunities for them to do that. So a systematic phonics program can help us to do this, where they introduce the sounds one by one, but provide lots of opportunities for students to use the sounds to blend, to make words, to put those words into stories, to come across those words again and again. So they keep seeing those sounds and making those connections between those sounds and their spelling. Okay, this is really, really important. We then can help them to use that skill along with other skills such as reading backwards and forwards, looking at what goes on after a text, what comes on before the text or the word that they're looking at, and also looking at the illustrations. Those are other skills that they can use, as well as the phonics skills they're developing in order to read new words that they haven't come across before. As they get success in reading words they've never read before, then their confidence will grow. They'll feel more comfortable reading texts they've never seen before. They'll feel more interested to read texts because they know that they can understand them and can access them. So as they do this, as they gain more confidence in their reading, because they have more skills in reading, then they can start to read more and more and more, and take more and more ownership over their own reading. So it's important for us not to do everything for them, but to teach them ways that they can do things for themselves. So one key way to do that is to teach them phonics and how sounds and spellings relate to one another. So I encourage parents to select books wisely. Think about your child's interests, what they like, what they want, what they can do, and what books they will find easy with a little bit of challenge to read. I encourage you to read those books with your children. Okay, so they're not reading them on their own, but they're with you, and it's a social experience. And I encourage you to look for opportunities for them to learn how the language works. How do letters correspond to sounds? How do words fit into a sentence? And how do those sentences fit into paragraphs? Then, through those kind of discussions and that explicit teaching, they will become more competent and capable readers, and then excel at reading.